Her Sports Energia AIL Rugby Show. Think of the possibilities.
So we're here at Energia Park, where Blackrock have just been named this year's winner of the Energia AIL season. Hannah, you had called it, but we did think it was going to be a tighter scoreline. What did you make of the match?
Yeah, look, I didn't think it was going to end with a 20-point margin to Blackrock. You know, it was a very tight affair. The scoreline probably just flattered Blackrock a little bit in the second half. Railway fell apart a little bit due to discipline and errors, but you know, Blackrock well worth their win. An incredible game, some really dominant and physical tackles, and a great showcase for women's rugby and particularly for club rugby in Ireland, and Blackrock were worthy winners.
And Rock got those first few points on the board. Do you think that made all the difference?
Yeah, like there was a bit of a shaky start from both sides. You could really tell that both sides were up for it, but were kind of nervous of what's going on, and conditions underfoot kind of caused a little bit of havoc. But Blackrock got the first score, kind of settled themselves a little bit, but you know, by the end of the first half, Railway were back on top, worthy champions that they have been for the last couple of years, and I really thought that Railway had a sustained period of pressure and that they were going to go on and actually dominate. But Blackrock came out of the second half, you know, they had a couple of missed chances or chances they didn't really execute in the first half, and in the second half they made no mistake, you know, scoring a couple of tries and really put the result beyond doubt. And they've been the form team all year. We've been talking about them the whole time. They beat Railway earlier on in the season, and you know, they had to beat them today when it mattered, and they just seemed like they were far more hungrier for it, and they executed way more of the chances they had.
And we saw a lot of line-outs in this game. I don't think the first scrum was until about 25 minutes in. In Railway's 22, there was a lost line-out. In Blackrock's the same. So what do you think those set pieces looked like today?
Yeah, look, set piece was pivotal for both teams, and it looked like Railway actually had the advantage in the first half, and Blackrock's throwing probably wasn't the best, and their line-out wasn't working, but the Blackrock maul was very dangerous right throughout the game, and they kept going back to that weapon, and it was really putting Railway on the back foot, and that's where Railway kind of started to lose the momentum a little bit, and it really shifted towards Blackrock, who could almost taste that first victory since 2008. But Railway unfortunately just couldn't keep up with that pressure, and as I said, their own set piece then started to fail a little bit and falter on them, and they just couldn't get any go for it or any traction.
Lindsay, reigning champions coming into this game, obviously not the result you would have hoped for. How do you think the match went?
I think we started slow. I think Blackrock came out and we knew that kind of a bit of intent. Look, they're two great teams came together today that were top of the table, that deserved to be in a final, and we knew it was going to be a humdinger. They have, you know, an array of talented footballers, a great coaching staff, but so have we. So we knew it was going to be probably nip and tuck. They started the better. Then when we started to hold on to the ball, we came into it, and probably getting 4 entries into their 22 in the first half and not converting when we're normally up around 40% is probably not what you want in a final, you know. So when you don't take your opportunities, I think they started to build slight turns. We were under pressure, yellow card, small margins in games like this, you know.
And we saw Enya Breen, player of the match. Who else stood out for you in this game?
Yeah, really impressed by Enya. You know, I think she dictated the game well at 10, and I said that in our last episode that, you know, the territorial battle in the kicking game was going to be a huge one, but I was really impressed by Ella Durkin in the centre. You know, she kind of got about and did a lot of the dirty work that nobody really sees or don't get applauded for, but she had some incredible chop tackles and just doing the really simple things, the really simple passes to get it out into space to the danger players, to the likes of Maeve Liston. You know, and Blackrock got their scores from them, and you need those kind of link players, particularly in that 13 position, you know, and for Ella Durkin to come in and do that, and she's working alongside obviously Michelle Claffey, the captain, who's very experienced, and they worked really well today.
And from Railway, who stood out from you? We saw Lindsay Peat, of course, always dominant in that team.
Yeah, look, Lindsay obviously has been an incredible athlete and servant to Railway over the years. For me, Niamh Byrne, the captain, showed real leadership today. You know, she has such a vital role for that team in the centre position, and as I said, it was a great battle there between Michelle Claffey and Niamh Byrne, but she was sticking her head in every single ruck, came out with a couple of turnovers, you know, and completely and utterly just giving everything she had for the team. Molly Scuffin-McCabe scored a brilliant try in the first half, but unfortunately wasn't enough on the day.
We've been wanting this. We said the start of the season was 107 days, I think it was, to the AIL final, and we knew that we wanted to be here. So to be here with the result, yeah, it was amazing.
I don't think we appreciated the shortness of the season, and I understand why the decisions were made, but you know, usually this time last year we're kind of at the halfway mark. You can kind of really step back, look where you can work on, but you were trying to now gauge like where you were going to peak in a very, very short season. So we enjoyed it. We got where we wanted to be, albeit just a slight step short.
We were really heartbroken last year. You know, we felt like we were working hard the whole time, but as even today, we didn't know what was going to happen, but we knew if we put in our performance and focused on ourselves that we'd come out the other end with the win.
And 2 tries for yourself today. It must be nice to add to that score sheet.
Yeah, but it's the rest of the girls that gave me the space to do that. So we said we'll punch up hard through the middle, and then after that the space will open up wide, and I just was really lucky to be on the receiving end of it.
And then we've seen a lot of replacements throughout the game. The likes of Maeve O'Leary came off, Alyssa Hughes came off as well in that second half. What impact did those replacements then make, do you think, when they came on?
I think the game has evolved so much that, you know, it's not about just your starting 15, and that it's a whole squad effort, not just even the 23 that you have coming off the bench, but the 20 or 30 plus girls that throughout the year that have been training. But today for Blackrock, the replacements were massive. To be able to bring on the likes of Christy Haney and Natasha Bean, both Irish internationals, off the bench. You know, Christy Haney came off straight away, penalty in the scrum. Tasha Bean got an assist there for the try at the end for Maeve Liston to finish up the game, and to have that depth and to be able to come on and make a massive difference and really bring that energy that you want to get through the kind of last 20-30 minutes is a massive thing. Railway also had some really good substitutes to bring on. They brought on Leah Tarpey as one of the contracted players, but unfortunately they just didn't have the same impact, and injuries probably hampered Railway a little bit in the first half, and they really struggled with that and fatigue at the end.
Oh, here we've got a squad of way more than the 24, 25 that were picked today. Any one of us could have been either on the pitch or on the bench. So I think we were just so confident, and we're all so cohesive and work as such a team that it doesn't matter who slots in or out, we know our jobs and what we have to do.
And then of course we've seen that yellow card for Railway with 15 minutes to go. What impact does that have on a team? Obviously you have to cover more ground with less players.
Yeah, look, obviously discipline plays a massive role in the game. Not only have you lost a player down, but you've also given away that penalty in the first place. And to be honest, I think the game had already kind of gone away from Railway at that point, and this is where Blackrock were able to stretch their lead a little bit. You know, they really moved the ball side to side and had Railway chasing, and cracks started to appear, and they got their tries in the 2 corners kind of in the last couple of minutes or so. But discipline plays a huge role. You're literally giving the other team a helping hand to march down the field into your own kind of defensive possession. And you know, unfortunately for Railway, just nothing really went their way in the second half, and they'll be disappointed with that themselves, but I've no doubt they'll be back next year looking for a bit of revenge.
And as you said there, they have a win under the belt, Blackrock have a win. It'll be all to play for next year, but do you think Blackrock are the worthy winners for this season's Energia AIL?
Yeah, absolutely. As we've mentioned, they've been the form team of the league. They came in as the #1 seed. You know, they had a bit of a wobble, I would say, in the semi-final, coming up against a stubborn and resilient old UL Bows team, but you know, looking at their squad, it's an incredible depth there. They've a brilliant coaching team in the likes of Philip Doyle, Ben Martin and Katie Fitzhenry, you know, and they've a really good blend of youth and experience, and sprinkled across their team they have Irish internationals, and I think they're only going to get better, to be honest. I think there's a lot more to come from that team, but I've no doubt that Railway, UL Bows, and you know, the likes of Galwegians, and then obviously my team, Old Belvedere, would be looking to try and upset the narrative next year and try to become champions.
We've young players who are talented who will learn from this, so sometimes the mental side of it, when you lose, when you're under pressure and you lose a yellow card, so, you know, and I think it's how we would have reacted to it, and then obviously Blackrock reacted to it and kind of saw our Achilles heel and kind of built on that. So look, I can't speak highly enough of the girls. I'm so proud of them today. It wasn't our day, but we will be back for more trophies, I know that.
And Blackrock finished this season then unbeaten. How does that feel?
Yeah, amazing. I think it's just a credit to us that have put in the work, but also the staff that we have. We're so lucky, great coaches, Ben, Goose, but then our management, even with Jen and physios, S&C, like we've just all pulled together and all really wanted this. So I think it's so nice to go unbeaten.
Her Sports Energia AIL Rugby Show. Think of the possibilities.